Thank you so much for joining me here again. And before I get into this video, I just wanted to say that I crossed the 100 subscriber mark, and to be totally honest, I'm completely shocked. I find it really hard to believe that there's 100 people that actually do like to hear me talk or go through old art books and give my opinions. So thank you so much. It really makes me feel good. I think I'm at currently 103 subscribers, and I can't thank you enough. So thanks. So just a little progress report. Obviously, those that have been following me for a while know that I have a line of children's books, and there was one that I really, really loved to do called Mark and His Magical Camera of Awesomeness. I have written the sequel to it, and the illustration process has been going on forever and ever, and I really didn't know why that was. I kind of got distracted with the writing, a bunch of other things, and I think when it comes to the writing aspect, I feel the need to just strike while the iron is hot. I don't know how many out there feel the same way, but it's sort of like I'm always worried that I'm going to get to a point where I just don't have any ideas and I'm not going to want to write. And so when the urge comes to write, I really just do it. And for better or for worse, that has had a big impact on having illustrations cranked out. That being said, illustrations are being done. They're being done, just not as quickly as I would like. Though I will say that when I do sit down and actually do the illustrations, I have a lot of fun with it. Part of it is, I'm not a trained illustrator. I'm sort of just forcing myself to do this, and I'm having a good time, but at the same time, holding the characters, as they say, where you're able to draw them consistently over and over again the same exact way, is a bit of a challenge. However, since I own the company, it doesn't really matter. I'm my own editor at this point. So, nonetheless, I want to give the best product I can. Obviously, that's just, I'm a harsh critic on myself. So, illustrations are coming, they're going to come a lot better. I do have stuff to show, and I can actually probably include it. In fact, you're probably looking at some of the illustrations right now as I'm talking. That being said, I have started another imprint that's absolutely not for kids or kidlit. It's more geared towards crime fiction. Sometimes, like that old pulpy stuff that was just like ridiculous back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, where it was just like, ridiculous science fiction type stuff or crime things. Sort of want to get back to that. I'm trying to get some friends involved with it as well, have them contribute some stories, actually have an actual company where it's not just me writing or illustrating. So I hope that's always going to be there's the goal. That's always going to be the one thing that I really want to do. And in the meantime, if it is just me, then that's fine. I can still just keep cranking them out as I am. Just not going to be as many books per year as I would like to see with my logo and imprint name. But whatever, these things take time. So other than that, I've just basically been doing a lot of stuff, getting the illustrations prepped. My process for the illustrations has been kind of like a work in progress in and of itself. So what I like to do is sketch by hand, because I still, as much as I spend time on the iPad, it's still not 100% natural feeling. I mean, it's very close, very close. I love both those things. The iPad's fantastic for just being able to go places and draw. And obviously the 16-inch monitor on the XP pen is fantastic. I like the pen better, to be honest, than the Apple Pencil. So when I do work on that, I do get a lot done, and I do enjoy it quite a bit. One thing that I actually have to bring up that is actually kind of funny is that I did sort of put my foot in my mouth with the previous video where I was talking about getting locked out of bookstores and how I was just going to keep hitting these indie bookstores up and just keep pushing and getting in and this and that. And the whole time, I basically ignored Barnes & Noble. Because, well, number one, I wasn't talking about the only game in town when it comes to actual retail books. It's talking more about like the independence, and lo and behold, I ended up getting a book signing at a Barnes and Noble in October. So how that came to be is quite a funny story, but it kind of goes to show that if you just get out there and just talk about your stuff to whoever, you never know who's listening. About 3-4 weeks ago, I was over at the Barnes and Noble down the street, go there all the time, and I was kind of looking for inspiration on a new book that I'm writing. And the book is definitely not for kids. It's actually for that other imprint I had mentioned. And I asked, well, where's the true crime section? The store had basically gone through a new renovation, so there's a lot of things that were misplaced. There's a very sweet employee there named Aisha, and she was like, yeah, sure, I'll show you where it is. So I walked with her, and then lo and behold, she starts asking, well, why are you interested in this? Is there anything in particular? And I said, well, I'm actually working on a book, and it's about this kind of a character, and I just sort of like want some inspiration. She's like, awesome, that's great that you're a writer. Do you have anything that you've got out there? I said, well, actually I do, yeah. So I showed her on my phone this novella that I had written. She loved the cover, thought it was like, she got it, like immediately she understood that this was like a pulpy kind of a thing. And what I aim to do is like a throwback to those old school covers and old school stories. So she was like, that's awesome, and blah, 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 and she was going to buy it. And I said, you know what, like, I live right up the street. I can just bring you a copy one of these days. A couple days later, I go and I bring her a copy of the book, and who is standing next to her is actually her manager, who runs all the bookings for the signings. So she looks at it, flips through it, and was kind of impressed that it looked like a real book. And I was like, well, yeah, I spent a lot of time on the formatting, and I got plenty of compliments on how clean those edges are. Those margins are razor sharp, thank God. And so next thing I know, the manager starts looking it up, and it's on barnesandnoble.com. You can order it from there if you wanted. And she says, would you want to have a signing? And I said, yes, absolutely. So on Halloween 2026, I have a book signing, and it just goes to show you never know who's listening, and getting your work out there is the only way you can really get your message across. Just get out there, talk about what you do, talk to strangers about what you do, what you like to do, and lo and behold, you'll end up with a signing as well. I guess that's the moral of the story. So that's very exciting. And again, it just goes to show that I wasn't even thinking about Barnes & Noble as a place to actually sell books, because I thought it was just too big and too hard of a mountain to climb, but you can get it. Other than that, I've just been doing a lot of writing, and like I said, I really do enjoy the illustration process. I still find myself wanting to buy more art supplies, even though I have more than enough, more than I could ever go through in several books. Something about those pens and pencils and all the different kinds of paper out there, but at the end of the day, make do with what you got. That's it. And I think that's my real mission for this period, maybe year, maybe the rest of the year. How about that? I'll give you that. For the rest of the year, I'm only going to use the paper that I have, and the pens and the pencils, paint, ink, erasers, all that stuff that I already have. So for the rest of the year, that's the mission. But what about you guys? What do you think? I mean, do you guys, I'm assuming a lot of you are into the arts and all that. Do you have a problem acquiring art supplies and realizing, eesh, I don't know if I could go through these maybe in a lifetime? Because sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I really thought that this pen was going to wear out a lot sooner than it is. And there's no end in sight, and I have like 24 more of them. So I buy in bulk. Yeah. So that about wraps it up for this one. Again, thank you so much to all you subscribers out there. It really, really does mean a lot to me. And as you can imagine, it just, anytime you do something like this and your subscriber count's kind of low, the viewership is a little low, sort of like, well, is anybody really paying attention? Um, and it's nice to know that you are. At least 103 of you are. I appreciate it so much. So thank you so very much, and I will catch you on the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you around. Be like water, my friends.